What's up, guys? Sean here from Srkcycles. We have a 2006 Yamaha Roadstar 1700. I love these bikes. This one, they put bags on it. They did put the upper fairing. I would probably prefer it without. Let's take it for a spin. This particular bike only has 17,000 miles on it. Just really low miles. I've heard more stories about Roadstars doing ridiculous miles. Like, I heard a story of a Roadstar that did 100, the guy was still riding it, but he had 150,000 miles on his Roadstar. And then once I mentioned that on one of my videos, people just kept on mentioning the same thing, like, yeah, I got 18,000 miles on mine, and these things run forever. I really consider this has like the essence. It's like a, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but it reminds me of a Road King. It's air cooled. It's big, it's wide, it doesn't have all the fairings and stuff. Well, this one kind of does. And but honestly, in a lot of cases, I would probably pick this over the Road King. I mean, it's got a great motor. I love the styling. I love these wide handlebars. It's got great power. It's got your heel toe shifter on it. Look at that. That is cool. Don't know what it is. It might be an old Porsche. I just love the way these things feel and they run. And 17,000 miles, that's a baby. I'm not even sure I even had one that had this low miles. I had a 2012 that had like 7,000 miles, but that was so much newer. Maybe it was a 2014. But this one has like no miles on it. I like that red, I like those wide handlebars. They put steel braided lines on it. It's got a big old floorboard. It's got these cool things where you put your feet even outside of the floorboards to get that real wide stance. When I first got this bike and took it for a spin, it was kind of spitting and sputtering on me. But I guess it just needed to be ridden a little bit. Like, we rode it for like 7 minutes and now it runs perfect. Sat all night, fired it up perfectly, and now it's fine. I guess there was just something, maybe it had a little bit of bad gas inside the carburetor or whatever, but I mean, it runs. It's not skipping a beat. It's not spitting and sputtering at all. It's a nice, nimble bike. I could do without that fairing. It doesn't do anything for me. But I know a lot of people like it. So hey, it's on there. It looks cool. Yeah, I like these bikes. It's big, 1700 cc. That ends up being, I mean, it's over 100 cubic inch. I'm not exactly sure what the exact. It's also belt driven. And unlike the V-Star 950s and 1300s, you could pull into a corner going in like third gear, going like 5 miles an hour, and then just grunt your way out with any extra vibration or anything like that. Like this. Let's grunt my way out. The V-Star 1300s, they kind of like, they start to chug and chug. If you're not in the right gear. I'm not really sure why they do that. Because they have great power. I mean, they're still great bikes. It just, I don't know, it's something I noticed. They made this bike for a long time. I think they started in the late 90s, at least, at the very earliest, or the latest is the early 2000s. But it's such a good classic look. Yamaha did it right with the Roadstar. First it was a 1600, then they brought it out to a 1700. When I did test drive on that dual sport, I went over that. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and on a dual sport, come on. Dual sport, you go over like houses and stuff. You ride through people's trailers and whatnot. Check out that video. 2014 DRZ 400S. When I think of a Roadstar, I just think of like a rock. It's just a reliable, solid bike. There's no like extra like plastic fairings on it or anything, you know what I mean? Just a solid piece of machinery. It doesn't have like an extra shroud that's like plastic. Chug. It's got your speedometer on the tank, and also, this is real cool, it's got a fuel gauge. Empty, full. A lot of bikes don't have that. They just have like a little dummy light that says, hey, you have no gas, and now you're stranded. But these, not too many cruiser bikes have an actual fuel gauge. Brakes feel nice and tight. That brake fluid in there looks real clean. And this bike has definitely it's kept indoors. Man, I told a guy I would sell him this bike for the wrong price. It was like, I gave him a number way too cheap, but I already said it, so I was like, okay, I'll do it. But for everyone else, $4,800. And now after riding it, I'm like, man, what? This is a lot of bike for $4,800. It's a good looking bike. It's got low miles. I mean, there's no downside to it. I think even that's too cheap. Alright guys, check out the test drive. Check out the walk around video.